Before anything else, a happy new year to you, dear viewer, because I wouldn't wish anything less than that. As for today's video, which happens to be my first for the year 2026, unlike previous years, I've never tried doing a top 10 of my favorite anime from the preceding year. So I thought this is a good opportunity to wrap them up with a neat little bow. So, two things to keep in mind before I start. First, this video contains spoilers because I'm incapable of talking about a show without it, at least with the way I am right now. And second, every entry in this list is either a new IP or a remake. The reason behind it is this: they're not sequels and they're not starting with an ongoing IP behind them. So please spare me from reading comments explaining how this list is garbage on the basis that Apothecary Diary Season 2 and Uma Musume Cinderella Grey aren't in it. The former is pretty much my favorite for 2025 as far as sequels go, and the latter, I haven't bothered seeing it because I'm trying to get the lads in my Discord to see all entries of Uma Musume prior to Sin Grey. We've recently finished Season 2, so there's still Season 3, Road to the Top, and beginning of a new era for the lads to catch up to. And even if I did watch Sin Grey on my own, it still wouldn't make the list because it has an ongoing IP behind it, with the global release of the game giving it a level of PR that the rest could only ever dream of having. So, having said that, let's begin with the list. For the 10th placer, we have Yano-kun's Ordinary Days. As to why it's here, honestly speaking, I simply liked every entry above this one more. So, the better question would be, how did it make it to my top 10? As much as I liked a bunch of other shows that could have been on the list, what made this anime get in is how great the confession scene was in episode 6. The way it wasn't a one-time scene but a sequence of scenes that led to the ultimate confirmation that Yano-kun was indeed in love with Yoshida. You don't see this every day in your average rom-com, and for that, it deserves all the praise it could get for doing something most romance stories aren't able to do. Next up is With You and the Rain. What made this show so unique in my eyes is simply the fact that I couldn't stop taking screenshots of Fuji-san throughout the story. I know there's a really good slice of life in this one. I mean, this isn't the first time I've seen a slice of life, and it definitely won't be the last. I mean, there are at least 3 entries above this one that are slice of life as well, so it's less of disregarding the slice of life elements of With You and the Rain and more of stating what made it so different. Not just to slice of life as a genre, but to anime as a medium. I don't recall any anime that made me screenshot as much as this show made me. And I have to say, that's just proof of how beautiful Fuji-san is to me. And the funniest part about it is that she's not even the most beautiful for me in the show. It's actually Ren. So, all things considered, I have to give Kimi his flowers for enabling an anime like this one. On to 8th place, we have Secrets of the Silent Witch. And to this day, whenever I think of this show, I'm reminded of that incident with Casey. And if you'll ask me, I'm still sad about it. Like, I know what she did that led to her final status relative to the first season, but knowing that Monica really saw her as a friend and would actually absolve her sins if Monica was the one calling the shots, It just hurts, man. Like, I think when I saw that scene, was that episode 9? I think I cried when I saw this scene. It was just, I actually hated the fact that it had to end that way. I know it was the best case scenario, but the fact that there's no outcome where Casey gets absolved, it just hurts. I mean, that feeling that you're more than willing to forgive, but the powers that be simply cannot due to protocol. It's rough. And if there's any consolation, at least Casey's not dead, and a reunion is still possible down the line. And as for Monica herself, she's doing great by the end of the first season with friends that are literally ride and die for her. So there's that. Next up is my fantasy of the year that goes by the name of Clevites. I just think this one is a proper dark fantasy while being thematically hopeful about the ideas that it tries to champion. To demonstrate what I mean by this, all we need to do is to look at everyone's favorite character in the show, which is none other than Alicia Glenfall. She was given one of the worst possible starts for any main character, which is dying, and then forced to live again in the service of Clevites. But what she did next is what made her so beloved by the fans. She knows that the world is in shambles, that her reputation as a hero is in the mud relative to the townsfolk, but she didn't try to argue her way into making people think otherwise. She simply did her thing in accordance to her beliefs and tried to do what she could to make the world a less terrible place, without pretending to be some kind of saint. I think that genuineness to do good in the face of a grim reality is something that a lot of us would always love to see. And that's Alicia Glenfall for you. All that on top of a character design that makes her more beautiful than your average generic waifu. At 6th place is the most theatrically dramatic main character of the year, who goes by the name of Anne Shirley, with the show title being her name as well. What I love about Anne Shirley that Alicia Glenfall from Clevites had as well is her innate propensity to just be herself. I don't remember her lying maliciously, and most of the time, she really just loves to go about things in the most over-the-top way possible, that it actually makes her quite endearing to have in your life. I still haven't gone about watching the second core of this anime, primarily because it's not fun that Matthew's gone. It just isn't, man. Like, when I watched episode 11 and episode 12, the void that he left was just palpable. I know part of the story is requiring us to move on when bad things happen, but yeah. I'll continue watching this one once I'm feeling less sad about Matthew's passing whenever I think of this show. And now we're on to the top 5 with the 5th place going to The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. What I love about this romance anime is how introspective the characters are in the story. You just won't see them trying to sugarcoat things, and they actually communicate their thoughts with each other in a way that feels real. And the journey that Rintaro had to take just to get to that promised ending with Kaoruko, you simply cannot argue that Rintaro didn't earn it. He definitely did. Especially with how much effort he had to do in order to recalibrate himself to be the guy that Kaoruko has been waiting for all this time. The show didn't do anything groundbreaking in terms of romance tropes, but it didn't have to. It simply was a good romance story with characters that care about how they treat the people around them. And for that, it deserves its flowers, pun intended. And one more thing, Kaoruko has to be the cutest character from 2025. I just don't know who can top this cake-loving cinnamon roll. Maybe Monica from The Silent Witch, but I'm 100% certain that Monica will disagree and run away if someone said so. And as for the case of Inori-chan from Medalist, the problem with Inori-chan is she's like a combination of cute and cool at the same time. So yeah, while Kaoruko is more like cute and innocent, so Kaoruko wins by that logic. Whatever. Anyway, moving on to the fourth spot. It's my anime of the season for fall 2025, a mangaka's weirdly wonderful workplace. What I love about this show is how down to earth the characters are for me. Most notably, the main character herself, Futami Sensei. Like, I don't think there was a point where a character tried to downplay whatever issues they were facing in each episode. And Futami Sensei, if anything, she actually manages to make any situation look worse than they are because of how many unlikely variables she's introducing to her decision making. And what her friends and colleagues do with her tendencies is what makes this show so nice to watch. They're all supportive of her in a way that doesn't ignore her weaknesses. What I mean by this is that whenever Futami Sensei is worried about something, instead of trying to just tell her to stop worrying, her colleagues actually go ahead and demonstrate how something can be achieved even if her worries are valid. I think people in general just deserve to have a supporting cast as great as Futami Sensei's team. Imagine having people that are willing to do the background processes so you can actually go ahead and do what matters most. If anything, this show is more fantasy than Silent Witch and Clevitis, and that's a testament on how nice Futami Sensei's work environment is, all things considered. But really, the show's just fun, especially when Futami Sensei's going off the rails. I mean, it just works, man. It just works. And for the third place, which means this one is an anime that's on the podium for me, it's none other than Colorful Stage the movie, A Miku Who Can't Sing. I've known Hatsune Miku since I was a kid. I won't claim to be a hardcore Hatsune Miku fan, but I will claim that I've been a fan of her for a very long time. So when I got told that there's going to be a movie about her based on a mobile game about her, even though I've never properly played that mobile game at the time, I just had to go to the cinema just to watch Miku on the big screen. And how was this film? I get that some people found the film confusing, especially if you've never played the mobile game. But for me, I was just smiling the entire time. The movie just felt like a love letter written by Miku, addressed to all of her fans. Prior to the movie, I've only listened to Vocaloid songs like every other month, sometimes playing them on Osu. But after the movie, Proseka songs became a staple in my playlists, and at this point, I just couldn't imagine not including Miku and the gang from my playlist because, simply put, I just like Vocaloid songs, man. And the movie cemented that preference for me. Plain and simple. For the second placer, this one was a show that I predicted would only get better for me with the passage of time. And the title of this anime is Zatsutabi, That's Journey. chances are you don't even know this anime because for most people who have encountered this, they'll interpret this one as a kind of Japanese tourism propaganda. But for me, it didn't felt that way. When I gave this show a try, it made me realize that if there was a hobby that I should practice, solo traveling is that hobby. At the time I watched this one, I made a promise to myself that before 2025 ends, I will do a solo journey outside of the capital region of my country. Not just for the purpose of role-playing the main character Chica, but because I wanted to prove to myself that I can go somewhere on my own merit. Prior to this anime, the notion of picking a spot on my country and just going there by myself, it was unthinkable. It was insane even. But when I finally got to do my solo trip to Lipa City to visit the racetracks of Padre Garcia and Malvar, I tasted a degree of enjoyment and freedom that I never once thought possible. I think this is what older people mean when they advise us to travel while we're still young. It's just, when you solo travel, no one's going to tell you to not go to a spot or suggest that you go to a different spot. When you solo travel, you see a spot, you're interested, you just go. No one's gonna stop you. And that feeling of just experiencing a place in accordance to your wishes, it's just awesome in so many ways. If there was one anime that made me touch grass from at least 50 kilometers away, it's this one. And I don't want to hear any slander for this show, especially if it's coming from someone who can't even leave the comfort of their hometown. Okay, that last part about Zatsutabi sounded like a bit of a rant, but we can't end this video like that. So, what's my anime of the year? If you've been following my 2025 videos since the start, you'll know that I'm heavily biased towards Medalist, to the point that I already claimed it as my anime of the year way before any of the other entries of this list got their start. So, what's with Medalist and why am I loving this show so much? Honestly, when I started 2025, I was at a phase of my life where I was still configuring my life compass, and while I have a general direction already on where I should bring my life towards, Medalist came to me as a sort of assurance. Seeing Inori-chan persevere against every single problem that life has thrown at her, like she was literally at her lowest at the start of the story, only for her to become someone that would make anyone who knows her so proud of her. Inori reminded me so much of my own struggles in the past 4 years, where every single day feels like a day where I have to mentally and emotionally drag myself just to get somewhere. And seeing her not give up, that fueled something in me. I like to think that everything that I did in 2025 was in a way influenced by this show. How influential was Medalist? I am more than confident to claim that all the other entries of this list, I likely wouldn't enjoy them as much as I did if Medalist didn't come the moment that it did. This anime set me up in a way that made it crystal clear for me on what exactly do I like the most in the stories that I watch. Stories that don't sanitize the hard reality of its characters, but instead, they try to help them overcome the challenges of their lives. So, for me, Medalist isn't my anime of the year because it did something on a technical level relative to writing a story. No, 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 no. It's my anime of the year because it made me realize what I like the most when I watch anime and how I should live my life. To persevere without forgetting the failures that shaped me to be who I am today. Before I end this video, I just want to say making this video made me very emotional. It felt like I wasn't just making a list of the shows that I liked the most in 2025, but also it felt like I was reviewing my life as well. Some things weren't said in the video, but I can assure you, dear viewer, this video made me reflect more than I have expected. And this is coming from someone who does reflection on a daily basis. So, yeah, once more, Happy New Year, and until next time, then, everyone.